meeting good? Two more? No one's talking. You're on, sir.
Thanks.
Nope.
Hello, folks. Welcome to your weekly select board meeting. We have some guests today, so there'll be a little probably variance from the agenda. We'll start with our town clerk.
Okay. Just a reminder, the municipal election is going to be September 6th. It's a Friday. The polls are going to be open from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Absentee ballots are now available. You can come in the office, you can call us, we'll send you one. They're available. The town meeting is Saturday, September 7th, and it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. An update on TextMyGov. Our meeting got rescheduled for Monday. I have a meeting with her tomorrow at 4 when we're closed. We're going to go through everything. There's certain steps we have to take, and if everything goes well tomorrow, we should go live right after. Just look for the notifications on the website and Facebook. I think it probably would be appropriate to put a small ad in the shopper's guide on additional information that it is live. But it pretty much is all set up. So
And a little summary of exactly what it does.
Yep. So that's exciting. Hopefully that's going to happen tomorrow afternoon. So. Tax liens will be sent out Monday, August 26th, if the 2023 taxes are not paid in full. So if you haven't paid, just be looking for that, I guess. Just a reminder, I'm sure Jen will mention it, the community cafe is back, and it's going to be Wednesday, August 28th at 11:30. And we will be closed on Monday, September 2nd for Labor Day already. Just some tax collection updates at the bottom. Actually, that's not accurate, that's a typo. We're more at like 30 accounts or so have been paid off, so we're a lot lower, it's in the 60s for 2023 taxes. So it was quite a bit of a payment there on different accounts and that was 2 weeks ago, so hopefully that continues to go down. That's all I got.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
As usual, we reviewed last week's minutes and this week's agenda. Approving the bills to be paid, only $16,000, which is a low amount for us. And reviewing bills to be paid next week. No ads in the shopping guide, however, there probably will be one concerning the new program that's going to be running.
Maybe the ACO as well.
We're waiting for our code enforcement officer's monthly report. However, we have received our monthly report for July from the state police. You remember they took over for our York County a few months ago. They handled 87 calls for Parsonsfield. And the vast majority of them, 25%, were for medical reasons. They have about 25 different categories. And we got 1 or 2 in a lot of them, and then 20 in the medical. We did receive an application on our animal control officer from James Hillard. We're looking, and we're going to keep this application open because we're trying to find someone that has experience and who is certified. We've gone through 3 or 4 ACOs, and it costs money and time to get them certified and to get them up to speed. And we'd like to be able to get an experienced ACO that we would not have to do that with. So we'll probably be putting another ad in the shopping guide, looking or continuing to look for an ACO. rescue unit sent in there. Report for July, 92 calls. 80% of the calls were handled by Shakopee Rescue. The breakdown of the calls, just a little interesting note: Cornish 24, Hiram 21, Parsonsfield 24, and Porter 20. Baldwin had 3. So, medical emergencies, motor vehicle crashes are the top 2. 29 for medical and 10 for motor vehicles. So that seems to be running a lot better than it did a few years ago, and Shakopee Rescue is really handling most of their calls, which they should. Planning board meeting is tomorrow at 6 o'clock. I'm sure one of their items to discuss will be the cannabis input they've received over the last week from the public meeting of last week. Appeals board, comprehensive board. We talked a little bit last week about CMP and the lights. I believe what we've decided is that this was reviewed a couple of years ago with Mr. Wright and Selectman Stacy. They eliminated about 20 street lights and toned down the brightness of a few of them. And we have approved CMP's request to put LED lights in, with the condition that they would be no brighter than the lights they're replacing. This will probably happen a year or two. I have no time frame as to when they plan to do this. However, as usual or normal, we should be looking at the lights that they put in, and if people feel that they are too bright, just let the select board know, and we can handle that on an individual basis and get them to tone down the light if it's one of the new lights. So, workshop on the salt storage. We really haven't had a workshop on that yet. Secaucus Road Salt Storage Building. We had it looked at by a civil engineer consultant to come up with whether the building was safe and appropriate and all that good stuff. He came up with some recommendations to help mitigate the fact that sand and salt stored in the building contributes to erosion and on the steel beams especially. So we'll be looking at that. In fact, we'll be looking at the whole building in the area, because we're waiting for some quotes on fencing. We want to repair the front of the building, which got hit by a truck, and we want to get rid of the graffiti. So, and then put the building back into reasonable condition. So that'll be a project that hopefully could get done before, before the snow flies this year.
Have we gotten confirmation, Deb, on that date and time for,
No, we have not.
Okay.
No.
thanks?
Aaron Morgan has put in an application for a home association meeting for, well, it looks like 9/28, but it got written over. Let me just check the back. 9/20, well, Thursday anyways, the 27th.
26th is the...
26th, okay, that's what that is. All right, for an association meeting to be held in the planning board room with about 20 people. They're gonna be charged a fee of $40 or $20 if they clean up. Does anyone have any objections to the meeting being held?
Mm-mm.
Aaron is the chair of the planning board right now and could be a select person by then, 50-50. He and Harvey. We had Spirit of America asking to celebrate Municipal Officers Appreciation Month at an October Select Board meeting. And we can talk about that, I guess. I don't know. Have our meetings. We will be looking to nominate someone for the Spirit of America Award. Last year, West Stacy received it. So we'll be looking at other candidates this year. This is a person who the town feels has contributed a lot to the town and really participating in a lot of things, volunteering for things, and trying to do right by the town. State evaluation. The main thing is in here, we're looking at, they say our ratio is 65% from the evaluation. Now, a perfect evaluation or a standard evaluation is 100%. If you're at 90% or 110%, the state feels that is within the range. If you get above or below, you get penalized. We're at 65%. We're getting penalized, which means this town loses money off of its homestead exemption and some other formula for aid to schools and things like that. So it behooves us to do this reevaluation. The budget committee and the town has been putting money aside for that, and I don't know if we've got to call into our assessors to see roughly what their cost would be, which we think we know, but just to confirm, and a time frame as to when they could do it if we asked them to do it. They haven't responded?
No.
Okay. If that's something we can let you know next week as to how much it's going to cost, or roughly how much it's going to cost, and an approximate time frame. That's about it as far as the formal agenda. Any updates? Jen, you have?
Oh, you know what, we met with Judith Blanco this morning. She came in to talk about her plantings on Province Lake, and she got her permits from DEP and all the other groups that she wanted. And as a select board, we just need to send her an email saying that she has our approval to do those plantings. Does that
Yeah.
sound good? Okay, I'll do that.
Do we know how many plants or how expansive this is going to be?
No, I mean, it's a very small stretch of Parsons Field that's along the lake. Yeah, and she's got Province Lake Association and I think it's the Acton Wakefield watershed that's going to be helping her because they've done it before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't
And
think
this
it's
is
going
to help prevent erosion and...
Well, that, and it's also, absorbs some of the phosphorus that's been going into the lake and creating that cyanobacteria. They have a big issue with it. So.
The Province Lake is running into the same situation that Long Pond ran
Yeah,
into.
they had
Yeah.
a very extensive
Yeah,
bloom this year
yeah,
and
it's
did
pretty-
last year also.
It's bad. It's bad. We had a complaint from a resident that they took their mattress over to Tri-Town and that they, they wouldn't take it. And I know the last meeting I went to, they said, everything is acceptable except for household trash. So I've emailed them just to see if there's been a change in the policy. So, but I haven't heard back yet.
But they did not want to take a mess.
Yeah, and I know the last meeting I went to that we agreed that anything goes, so, except for
Have to
household
pay a little
trash.
extra, but
Yep,
they should do it.
yeah. Youthful Maine's doing their food drive this Thursday at 3, and like Danielle said, the community cafe next Wednesday. And I think that's about all I have to say for now.
Thank you. Dave?
Couple of things. I've got to update you on the cost for fiber internet. Consolidated finally got back to me on their fees and taxes, and they're substantial. So instead of, let's see, it was $217, I believe. Well, no, that was for 6 phones. So it'd be about, instead of $250, it's about $350 with the taxes and fees, which is slightly more than what we're paying right now.
These are the office phones in effect.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, replacing what we
Okay.
have. Yeah, and getting us the fiber, which will keep us live when power goes out. We have the generator, we can keep our own power on. So this is about $50 more than what we're paying right now per month. The other side, Spectrum, comparing that, now that I've got those taxes and fees on consolidated, Spectrum at half the speed that Consolidated is quoting is $674 a month as opposed to $350. And at a third the speed, they're $550. So I would still recommend that we go with Consolidated. And if we decide we do need an article, because that's for a 3-year contract. So we'll need an article. I asked if she would hold those prices till after town meeting, and she said yes.
Cheaper and faster.
Cheaper than Spectrum, yes,
Yeah.
and faster, yes. That's quite a bit faster. The fast only comes in, or really would only come into play when we got a lot of usage at one time. We might not see that very often, but
Yeah.
when we did, could be substantial. Okay, so that's still my recommendation. The other thing is a unique one. We got a call this afternoon from somebody asking about whether they could bring seaplanes up onto the beach at Province Lake. I don't know. So I did a little research. Seaplanes are allowed on any lake in Maine as long as there is no local ordinance prohibiting them. And as the gentleman I spoke to said, once they're in the water, they're just a boat. And he said, well, do you allow boats to come up on the beach? I said, sure. So anyways, I said I'd check into it, but basically I think unless you tell me otherwise, I will contact him and say there's no issue. And he's talking about once a year, if that, where they have a group, he thought maybe 10 seaplanes.
10?
Yeah,
10?
Wow.
it's a group. Yeah.
10
Seaplanes
seaplanes
Anonymous, huh?
Well,
Blue Angels.
Wow.
coming onto the beach?
potentially. Some of them will moor or anchor offshore.
We know there's a dock out there now.
Well, no, let's not go there.
Okay.
And some will come up on the, they just bring the front of the pontoons up on shore.
What if it ruins their plantings? No, I'm just kidding.
Won't be near
Yeah,
the
I know.
planting.
Well, how
Planting
big is
near
that
the
beach
road.
area?
Not big.
I just,
I have a question. Is
Yes.
that privately owned? Who owns the Parsons Field side of Providence Lake?
Well, the beach area is partially owned by a landowner. That's the northern
Yeah.
tip of it. The rest of it's town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the rumor I heard, that it was privately owned where that dock is.
A little bit,
Yeah, where the
where that
dock
dock
is.
is, yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit
Okay.
is.
But that's the only part.
Part of it, the
Yeah.
rest of it's town.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. So we don't have any ordinances. And I'll tell him that he needs to make sure it's okay on the New Hampshire side, because they're gonna be landing in New
New
Hampshire waters. Yeah. So you guys okay with that, or?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. And that's all I have.
Okay, as I mentioned before, we're waiting for some information on fences. The calendar notes are the same really as the last few weeks about electronic drop-off, tire drop-off, community cafe, free food. Check the town's website for all of these things. They're there.
You might note the upcoming dates that are in the, well, I guess I can do it. As Jen noted, Youthful Maine is this Thursday, and the Community Cafe is the 28th. The electronics drop-off is September 14th, okay? So remember that one. We do that every couple of years. All right, I'll shut up now.
Question for you.
In addition, we're looking to provide a hazardous waste drop-off too. If we can work that out, where so you could get rid of, basically paint is the major, I think,
Yeah. No,
culprit.
paint can be,
Return to where you
Return.
purchased it,
well,
right?
you don't
Or-
even have to have purchased
But
it
it's,
at the.
yeah, I know, I'm just trying to, if we could work something out where people could bring it to a central drop-off point,
Okay.
that'd be much better, I think.
You think? Okay.
Yeah, because all the people that sell paint, they don't want 50 or 60 cans of, 100 cans, I don't know, half-used paint, old paint, that they have to get rid of. I mean, it's just a,
I guess, but they've signed up to be
Yeah, I
a drop
know.
center. It's not mandatory.
no, I understand.
Okay,
I understand.
all right.
But
I'm,
if we can do it, it's not gonna
I'm
cost
just
us
looking at money.
anything.
Oh, it's not gonna
Maybe,
cost
well,
us
maybe
anything?
not, who knows? We'll find
Okay.
out.
Okay, all right, we'll find out.
Free.
That's it, we have, as I said, guests here, I know Jeff's in the back taking notes diligently.
Mm.
Do you have anything you'd like to?
Oh, just that I'd like a copy of the state police report and the rescue report.
Yeah, I think they're on the website, aren't they?
They will be.
I don't get them, so.
You don't get them?
She gets them after the select board meeting.
Oh, okay, so, all right, you, absolutely.
All right, and the recycling thing, the big thing is old gas, and not so much paint, but old gas and oil is probably the
Yep,
number
well,
one
that's-
thing. Kerosene could be another thing.
Yep.
You might want to check Echo Maine prices, they're pretty high, so,
Well, it'd be nice if we could get rid of them at no cost for the town. If we can do it.
I don't think you're gonna be able to do that.
Well, we'll see. That's our objective.
Yeah, I know. It's how to get those big fires going in the woods. And I guess that's about all, because, you know, don't want to take up too much time.
All right, I know
Okay.
there's a group here. I think, JP, you representing the group?
I'm not representing the group. I have a couple of questions, though. I guess I could be representing the group. I'm sure
Well, I
they have
mean,
the same questions that I do.
The four of you here on the same issue, basically?
I think that we probably are.
Trevor, you?
And then,
JP kind of, yeah. I want, yeah. Let him do the talking.
Oh, he's the spokesperson, he's the spokesman.
I like it.
sure.
All right, JP.
So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the date for the vote for the ordinance. After the public hearing on last Wednesday, Jen, you had mentioned that during this meeting, the select board would be discussing setting a date for that vote? Have you guys decided on that?
I think it depends on what happens on Wednesday, because if there's any amendments to be made, then those have to go again to some kind of a hearing, so we don't have a specific date for a vote.
Okay.
Yep.
And so you're saying that, based off of the feedback you guys received tomorrow from the planning board, that you'll be deciding on a date then? So does that mean next Tuesday you guys will be discussing setting a date?
We
Seems
can
reasonable.
discuss it, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Now, we do have to do it within a certain time frame, right?
No,
There's no,
no, it was
I
a
thought there was a
30-day limit.
90-day
It was
or-
30 days after the public hearing that the planning board has to make their recommendations and give them back to the select board.
but then there's no time frame on the select board?
No.
Okay.
Do you guys have an intention to hold this date soon, though? I mean, or is this something you guys are looking at kicking down the road? This is something we've been working for a while. I just
We don't want to
get it for
kick
you
this
guys.
down the
Right,
road.
we are not kicking it down the road, we are doing it as it comes. And like I said, I think after tomorrow, we'll have a better idea of where we're going with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of the amendments, something that was brought up during the meeting, one of the gentlemen in the audience asked if amendments could be made prior to the vote taking place. And then the town lawyer stated that could take place, which we know can happen. But David, you answered that for the select board that no, you're not willing to entertain that, and you guys want to push forward with the ordinance as proposed. So my question is, are you guys, from my understanding, a select board is comprised of 3 members for the reason of you guys each get an individual vote on issues and to decide that. No one person represents the board as a whole. You guys vote on these matters. So my question is, will you guys entertain a vote on some of the recommendations that the planning board is going to make to include them in the final draft of the vote?
Certainly talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it depends on what the questions are, JP.
Okay.
Or what the
I just want to
recommendations
make
are.
sure it's open, because during that public hearing,
Yep.
it did not come across that way. I mean, what was said was, we're going to push forward with the draft as it stands.
Recognize then there were 3 ways to get a modification to the ordinance.
Yeah.
With the vote, with, there were you could, you know.
You're talking about after the fact.
Yes,
I'm
but
talking about
you're-
before
I
this
know, but
even-
you don't have to wait, someone thought 2 years or something to put it in. It
Right.
can be done immediately, action can be taken to modify something that people feel is inaccurate or not good.
Yeah, I guess what I'm talking about specifically is the draft that you guys have right now
Yep.
can be changed before it goes to the town to vote on.
I believe it's gonna have to go back to
I'm
public
just gonna
hearing.
say that.
That's
I think what
the
JP
issue, and
said
we're
was that
trying
the-
to accommodate you guys.
Right. Unless the lawyer says that it can be,
That's what he had said.
right, that's what you're alluding to. And if that's the fact and we confirm that with him once again, then yes, it could be voted on without having to go to another hearing.
That's
But-
what I said, the content is important. If it's just a he, they, I type of thing,
Sure.
probably it could be a word or two changed, but if some significant changes, I think then the attorney has to come in and let us know whether we can accept it, if we agree with it, or it has to go back to the public hearing, the planning board, and start that process again,
Okay.
which I certainly would like to avoid.
Sure. No, I just want to clarify, because, very, very blunt answers of no, it's going to be this way, don't really explain the full issue.
Yep.
If that makes sense. Okay. And then the next question I had was the Recreation Committee. We talked about like 6 months ago. I know I put my paperwork in. Is that still happening, or where is that?
Yeah, exactly, where is that? It's there, but I haven't acted on it. I have not had the time.
Okay.
Okay, I've not had the time. And now that you're bringing that up, we didn't talk about that at the Budget Committee, having a little budget for it. So thanks for the reminder. Yeah. I
Yeah,
haven't
even if
forgotten
it-
about it.
Even if it doesn't have a budget the first year,
Still do it.
Yeah, and
Right.
it can still be a committee that
Yeah.
makes recommendations, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not something I've forgotten about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What needs to happen next?
She
Time.
needs time.
I understand time, but I'm just asking what's the next actionable step? You know, like, I don't think that's an unreasonable question.
No, I would probably advertise it in the shopping guide and have a meeting of all interested parties, because I only have you and Harvey.
Okay,
Yeah, but I have asked Jim Paulette if he might be interested,
yeah.
so. And maybe that would bring in more people too.
I've got 3 people willing to sign up right now.
I love it. I would be more than happy to organize it and get it going and have maybe somebody else, you know, I've got,
Well, I mean, that's why it's a committee, so
Right.
you don't have to manage it. It just
Exactly.
needs to be established.
right.
So, yeah. It wouldn't
It's
be-
not gonna happen before town meeting.
Not asking
Okay.
you to, I'm just asking where.
You
things are
asked
at.
when and what was going on, and I'm telling you it's not gonna be before town meeting, so.
Yeah, so is it actually established, though, that the recreational committee?
Yeah, we have a policy.
Did you say no?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I think you said, mm.
No,
Yep, no, we have a signed
sorry.
policy.
So we have a committee, it's just not staffed.
Correct.
Okay.
It hasn't met yet. We have you and Harvey that have signed up for it.
Well, I
And we, so we haven't, you haven't even been appointed, if that's what,
Exactly.
if that's
No, right,
right.
it has to be.
We have
Okay,
no
So it's
right,
not staffed.
right.
Yeah.
But the paperwork is in place.
Yeah.
All right. This one is just a public service announcement because people can hear me. On Wednesday and Thursday of next week, there's a Bowling for a Cause event at Archie's for Ruthie, who was mauled by a pit bull last week. And we're trying to raise funds for her to really get over this incident and through life. So anybody who's willing to come out and support, between 6 and 9 p.m., 75% of the funds that we donate on the lanes are going directly to her. We have an appetizer special that's going 100% to her, and then some drink specials. And we've got a 50-50 raffle and auction items that people are piling together. So any members of Parsons Field and the surrounding communities who would like to come and support this wonderful woman who's been a part of our community forever, please come out and help her out. And I'm sorry to put a plug out there related to my business, but it's more about the community coming to support this wonderful woman. And then, as select board members, I really hope that you guys get to come out too. Ruthie's a great lady. I don't know if you guys know her.
Known her for 40 years.
There you go. And then, I don't know if you guys got my memo today in reference to Chris.
Your referendum or your, what was it called?
Memorandum.
Memorandum.
Yeah.
Referendum's on my brain. We certainly did.
Would you guys like to discuss that, or would you like to do it at a later time? Or?
Well, is that why I thought that's why you guys were here.
Oh, no, so aside, coupled with that, I guess, I sent you guys all a red line of the ordinances. When you guys get eyes on it?
I did, I read through it.
How about you did it?
Yeah, I did.
Did you get eyes on it, sir?
I'm sorry,
I sent you guys a red line of the cannabis ordinance?
I did not see it.
Okay, well, I wish you had, and I'd love to get it in front of you because I think it's good, useful information that could be beneficial. I know David has reiterated that we will not be amending that prior to the vote, at least with residents' input, and I was hoping that tonight we could vote on some of those amendments, but if you haven't seen it, obviously you're unable to, but I hope that you guys can get that in front of you because I think the document needs a lot. And I know that you've said that you're trying to cater to Trevor, however, I live here too. So
Sure.
I live right next door, and I'd like you guys to take a look at it, please, because it affects me just as much as it does anybody else, if not more.
I do have one question, and you say it affects you in your current business. There's nothing in there that's going to change caregiver growing.
Yeah, we're not looking to be caregivers forever. It's
Okay, so
it's a tough
it's-
ride. We have
It's
a lot of-
future change, okay.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
know how
I-
familiar you are with cannabis legislation nationwide, but in every single market, medical evaporates and it becomes adult use.
Mhm.
That's what it makes
across
it
the
sound
entire
like.
country.
Yeah.
And that is for no other reason other than governments wanting to regulate, governments wanting taxation. It's that simple.
What was your reasoning for redlining the fee schedule?
It's way too much money. You gotta understand, like, we're paying exponential amounts of money to the state to be licensed, then to pay the town to be licensed as well, and that's on top of operating costs, payroll. Compliance is very expensive. You gotta understand that we're trying to encourage business in our town, not overcharge the operators who are already here. And I understand that, you say that doesn't affect medical, but it in fact does. They will have to get a cannabis facility license under that ordinance. Are you guys aware of that?
Well,
Yep.
Only if it's not on their primary residence.
yeah.
Exactly.
Right,
I'm lucky it is on my primary.
right, you are, and,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure you looked into
Right.
it.
Do you have any input into licensing fees for the town?
Yeah, and I attached that in a red line as well. So my prior facility was in Saco. The municipality of Saco is a very established municipality with way more oversight, and I was paying $1,000 a year for a 14,000 square foot facility. So I don't think the goal should not be to profiteer off of these businesses. It should be to help them.
It's definitely not for revenue, it's not for revenue for the town.
Yeah, but it definitely doesn't cost $3,500 to have Jesse come inspect me and Trevor in a day. I don't know what Jesse makes, but I doubt it's that.
Well, do you know where that fee schedule came from?
No, it seems kind of like it was just kind of a dart thrown at a board and,
Came from these guys.
okay, well,
It was based off other towns.
Yeah,
and,
That's exactly what it was based
yeah,
off of.
so,
it should not, other towns mess it up way worse, so I will give you that. The ordinance is what it is, and there's worse and there's better, there's a spectrum,
Yeah.
on behalf of the operator. But judging yourself against another municipality, we are not them, we're Parsonsfield, and we should make our fee schedule so that it covers expenses and is not exorbitant. But that's just
maybe
one-
reflects the business a little bit too.
I think so. I don't know how profitable you think these businesses are, but with 2,000 square foot of canopy, you're not making millions and millions of dollars. So,
Okay.
Yeah, nobody's making millions and
Right,
millions,
no
but-
one. Maybe some are,
what
making millions
other
and millions.
business in town has a license to operate?
None. We don't have business licenses.
I would love
per
to see
se.
business licensing come to the town of
And I'm
Parsonsfield.
not recommending that. I don't think that should be the case. I think that- I
I'm
think
sure
that's
you're
why-
not, but I
think
would
that's
like-
why we live
yeah.
in Parsonsfield, because
Yeah.
the barriers to entry are minimal.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the 100 points that I attached to you guys. So I hope that you'll see it, and I hope that you'll take it into consideration. I hope that we'll amend the document, because I don't want to spend the next few years, with you guys trying to amend this the other way. That's not what I want to do. And again, I know you're prioritizing Trevor. I know Trevor wants to get the business.
I don't know how they're prioritizing.
He said, he just said it.
You said that?
It's saying that they're catering to you. And that is,
Excuse me, I don't put words
you're
in
gonna have to
my
watch
mouth.
this video, because you
Okay.
said,
You said
We're
catering,
catering
Chris,
to
and
him?
you
we
misunderstood
were trying
what
to
you're
cater
saying.
to Trevor. I'll get the video and send it to you, so
Okay.
you have proof of that.
Yeah.
You're trying to make me sound crazy.
Chris, you could have been part of all of this, and you
Okay.
didn't come down here and voice your opinion on none of it.
I'm
Now you're
voicing it
voicing it
now.
all.
Yeah.
You should have been here prior.
Why should I?
Why should you?
Because
it might not-
some of your questions would be answered ahead of time.
No one knew it existed. Jeff didn't know it existed.
What David said was, we were trying to cater to your guys' schedule.
Here I am.
Yes, I said the schedule we were trying to cater to,
Okay,
that's
But
all.
I understand the
Because
implication.
who's
I understand
schedule?
the implication.
Who's schedule?
Their schedule.
Okay, thank you. So we
Okay,
just
yes, but
full
we're not
circle there.
catering
The
otherwise.
Okay.
schedule, the
Yeah.
fee schedule.
No.
No, that was to your schedule
Now we're
to
getting
get
away from
things
the point,
passed.
but I hope you'll take my red lines into consideration.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 22 years, so I think I have some solid recommendations. I think a group of stakeholders should have been collected. And I know that you guys see this is your group, but there is a larger pool than that. And I am being forced to be vocal. There are plenty who aren't being. So
I'm sorry, you're being forced to what?
be
I'm
vocal?
being forced to be here to stand up for my business
Okay.
by this occurring.
Mhm.
And I hope that you guys take into consideration the points that I have written down more eloquently than I can speak to you right now.
Mhm. Okay.
why did you want to redline the entire odor mitigation clause?
I think that that pertains to Trevor's business, but not mine, and not others per se. For example, we've had 0 odor complaints in 2 years, 0 calls for service. We're not a nuisance to this community. That's why my facility is.
But if it is a complaint from residents,
My facility is a quarter mile off of the road. There's no neighbors.
So why are you concerned about it then, I guess?
Because you guys are regulating it, and any further regulation is a lot of regulation. We deal with a lot of regulation. And I understand that there needs to be some. I'm not anti-regulation. It's just you gotta understand what is a paper-thin margin for us. Gets smaller, and that's why I'm here.
appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Trevor, want to jump in?
I'm good.
Water's warm.
Yeah, it's real warm.
You okay?
Yep.
Okay. Young lady, are you, I don't know if you're with them,
I'm just here to listen.
you're just here to listen, that's a
Okay.
good thing. That's what Judge Judy would say, right? One mouth, 2 ears. All right, folks, with that, we'll conclude the meeting. Thank you very much for coming, we appreciate it. Appreciate all the input,
Thank you.
and I'm sure we'll be getting back in touch with everybody. Except maybe you, Jeff. I don't know. You're the wild card here.
I'm the wild guy?
Better than being the joker.
Yes, I'm just the
All
film.
right, folks, thank you very much.
Jeff, is this what